know nothing about art and you walk through a museum, you can still say, oh, I like that painting or that piece of sculpture. But if you know nothing about chess and you walk through an area where chess is being played, you can't take away much from it, other than that you see people engrossed in it. So I think the secret to building chess, or it's not a secret, is to make the moves and rules of chess available to as many people as possible. That will increase the base more than anything else, because then you'll have millions of people who understand, who are capable of understanding the game, and getting involved in supporting chess professionals. It starts with a large base. How do you get them interested? Introduce them to the game. That, I feel, is the best way to go.
Stuart, you're here. You have after-school programs here. You see kids with tournaments.
Chess from when I grew up to today is radically different. Today the Marshal has about 500 members. 200 of them are juniors. We have 7-year-old juniors who have ratings of A and B players. It's just amazing to see the talent and the interest, the support of their parents. We've recently started running camps. In fact, next week's camp, we probably have to turn people away because there are so many juniors who want to enroll in the camp. So the base is amazing. It's building. We're running probably 300 tournaments a year now, which is a mind-boggling number. And the interest is phenomenal, and I couldn't be more optimistic.
Beatrice?
Yes.
Before you teach students. You have students that you teach?
Yes,
no? Okay.
I teach
You use computers with them.
I also work for an organization. It's called Chess Educators, which is my own, and it's growing. It's good, but beyond that, I mean, here we need to look at the bigger picture. There have been booms in chess, and I think after the Fisher boom, what we studied was the chess in the school boom that was studied by Bruce Pandolfini, who was the founder of the chess in the school program in New York City, and Fan Adams. Then and other people, and then many of us came along after that. We started in the I started in 1990, 1991. I was fortunate enough to come to the United States at the right time. But the next boom, the scholastic boom is still going. We have already 20 something good years. And I think it will continue growing, and we will expose more people to chess. But the next one, which I believe will start now, and it's going to be even as big as that one, and probably even more meaningful in other ways, is chess for seniors. Chess to utilize chess in the prevention of Alzheimer's. Actually, you cannot cure Alzheimer's, but you can slow down the development of the illness. And chess and reading and any cognitive activity have been proven to be effective in that regard. And I think from that end, we have another market that will open that will be important for us. So chess as a social good, I think it has a lot of potential. Also the work that we can do with children at risk, supporting communities that they have less, they have less resources to develop chess. In New York City, we have a lot. We have this wonderful club, a lot of people that from all over the world that they brought their talent and their abilities to help others to learn and develop their chess skills. But chess is going to be much bigger in the future. There's no question in my mind that if we're talking about now that they estimate that how many people play chess in the world, I don't know, 30 million in the United States is the estimation, only in the US. But that they know how to play, to play the game. I think in the future it's going to be a lot.
Well, I mean, computers have incredibly revolutionized the game. When I grew up, there were no computers. We had to do everything through a book. You can go over 200 chess games within a matter of minutes now, whereas before we had to go page by page. That took hours. The internet has also radically changed things. I mean, the things that you can see when you're on the ICC, the pattern recognition of this generation is much higher than the pattern recognition of my generation. So if I wanted to practice a line in a Sicilian, I mean, We can just play 15 games, 20 games on the internet. And then we have databases, so which means that we can instead of actually having to buy a book, we can just go straight to the database and we can learn how opening is played. So technology has radically changed things. When I grew up, there were only 200 grandmasters in the world. And now, last time I checked, it was 1,483. I'm sure that number has grown since the last time I checked. So the fact that we can produce so many GMs, I mean, I think this is, in many ways, we may look back at it as the golden age of chess, not because of alone because of the top players, because there's so many good players in the world. And I think mainly due to digital technology.
I have to second that and agree with what Gerald said so beautifully. You know, when I started playing, if you were involved in the Marshall Chess Club, you might play one rated game a week. That's ridiculous compared to today's world. I mean, you have so many more opportunities to play. That has to redound in favor of developing skills and producing more players. Certainly, everything you said about the internet, the apps, YouTube, the ability to click on moves and shift within games so easily, was such an arduous affair. To play through a book and look at all the side variations is very dissuasive. I mean, not everyone could do that. So you have very young kids taking part in these utilities and gaining immensely from it. That's why we have so many strong players in the world today. They're playing every day and they have opportunities to study in ways that just never existed before.
To make an analogy, in 2 years now, you can learn as much as you can learn before in 10 years, just by using technology. You can go over games, openings, you can find novelties, you can find so much there that you can do very
Okay,
quickly.
so continuing with our discussion. We've talked about where chess came from and a little bit about where it is now, especially with the digital era. And we use Claudia Munoz as an example and how she's rebranding herself in the game of chess. And I think that as stronger, especially elite players, rise up in the rankings, they're going to have to engage with their following. It's all hand in hand. Sponsorship, following, it's all hand in hand. If company sees that player A has a large following, company A wants to have their image attached to player A, a la Magnus Carlsen. Okay? So, the present state of chess, you look puzzled.
I'm always puzzled.
The present state of chess, where do you guys, what does the panel see the present state of chess, where it is currently right now, either in New York or America? You can talk, not just locally, but because I want to kind of connect the dots from where we are to where we're going. You.
Yeah, I think back to when I started as a teacher, the height of the Fischer-Spassky match in 1972, and how times were then. There were very few chess teachers in the New York City area. Maybe I knew of 3 then. There must be hundreds in the New York City area now. Then we had no curriculum to draw upon. We used Reinfeld, Chernow books, and our own wherewithal to work with students. Now you have very well laid out regimens to follow. Whole courses that are wonderful. We talked about the internet and all the services available to people. You can make a living teaching chess now. You couldn't do it back then. There was only one professional in the New York area making a living from teaching chess back in the late 60s, early 70s, and that was Shelby Lyman. There were others teaching chess, but not actually making a living. He was commercially viable. Now, there's so many. I think there are many more professional players as well earning some money from the game here. Whereas in those days, unless you were supported, unless you were Fischer or Reshevsky or something like that, you weren't making a living from the game. So compare the past to now, you can see huge gains.
Stuart?
Stuart, I see you. I see you at the crossroads because you see what comes in here. This is the first stop. This is the first stop. People come. This is the first Washington Square and the Marshall Chess Club. So you're at the crossroads. That's why I was kind of interested in having you here on the panel. So what is it that you see?
Well, thank you. Actually, I also see the past, because I'm probably the oldest member of the panel. But I would say the Marshall is 10 times more robust today than it was when I was growing up. As Bruce said, one tournament a week, one this a week. You know, there were no grandmasters at the club then. I think there are about 24 grandmasters who are members today. So I mean, the whole environment is different, the opportunities are different. I see what's being done in some of the schools, especially IS 318, which continually wins, you know, national championships and the programs they put in there. I can't even imagine how much more it's going to grow as we keep doing this. It's just spreading out phenomenally. And so, you know, I would just like to see where we are in 10 years. I think Beatrice said you can learn in 2 years, or you can learn in 10. You know, I think the tenfold growth from the mid-50s or 60 years ago to today, you know, in 10 years, we could grow 10 times more. I just think it's phenomenal.
Yeah, well, I think it's also important to see that chess is in many places. I mean, the movies, you know, that Rose has been a consultant for many movies in Hollywood. It's in commercials, info commercials. I mean, somehow people, they think about something breaking, and then there is chess. And they want to have a piece of the action. And it's happening because you see the, you know, the subway, you take the train, you see something with chess. You go to a park in New York City, you see people playing chess. Even when it's cold in the winter, you're wondering how these people will sit and play. They sit and play every day. I mean, it's their thing. They play in coffee places. As everybody agreed here, I think chess is growing, and more than anything, it's growing very, very well. It's growing in a very healthy way, and it's allowing everybody, regardless of their background, or their culture, or their language, to be part of it. And it's a very, you know, very open and diverse activity.
I mean, yes, I mean, first thing I have to echo, and I just want to make to emphasize the point that Bruce made earlier. When you have a star like Fischer, that is based on the cult of personality. I mean, that's based on, because we're so amazed by this genius that brings, you know, lightning to the world. But this type of growth that everyone's speaking is a different type of growth. It's more of a natural growth. And I think the Scholastic movement was a big part of that. I mean, we talked about the digital revolution. And I think the other part of this is the Scholastic movement in chess is starting to produce, we're exposing people to chess at younger ages. When Beatrice mentions that there are 30 million people playing chess in America, that may seem like a small number, but that's a huge number for any, for the demographics of a marketer. I can't say we're there yet, but I do believe, I mean, we may look back at this age, the fact that we have almost 1,500 grandmasters in the world. We have a chess club in St. Louis that hosts one of the top tournaments in the world. Come on, Sean, you're doing chess scene in New York. I mean, was there shows like this before you started doing chess scene in New York? So everywhere you look at it, whether it's scholastically, professionally, chess has incorporated itself into the digital age. And we have a grandmaster producing a millionaire tournament. I think that's very positive at this point. The state of chess in America.
One last thing, in addition to the growth and spreading of chess, good things are being done for serious chess players also, which never really happened years ago. Obviously, Maurice's tournament with significant prizes. You know, the Marshall is doing 2 things. It's running a Grandmaster Norm tournament right now, so people who are serious and want international titles can get them. We run a New York International tournament in June, where we probably get 250 or 300 people, and we can award titles at those. So I think in addition to spreading it, good things are being done for serious chess players.